Well, thank you all so much for coming today. We're so grateful that you're here for our anti-aging and detox workshop. We have a lot of good information that we're going to share with you today. Who here wants to feel and look 10 to 20 years younger? Yeah, me too. Are you interested in improving?
Well, you'd only be about 2 then.
I'd only be about 2. That's so sweet. I would be like 19 actually. 10 years younger. But thanks for saying that. We'll pay you later. We're so glad you're all
I just
here.
wanted a free massage.
Yeah, right. That's right. You won something. I'll have to think about that. That's good. But we're going to share a lot of life-saving information. We're going to learn how our bodies to help release fat and cancer-causing toxins and all of that. So really good information today. And Dr. Jared Hill is going to be presenting that information. And let's start by standing up on our feet, if you don't mind. Get our blood pumping a little bit. So help me welcome Dr. Jared Hill.
That helps get the blood going through the brain so you can retain the information. So when we go to these, yeah.
I thought it was flushing, I'm sorry.
Flushing things out too, for sure. So what we want is for you to not only be listening hearers, but doers, right? How many of you guys, do we have any guests to your very first workshop? Is anybody? Okay, awesome. Welcome here to this.
Yay, awesome.
How many of you have been to at least 3 or more workshops? Okay, how many of you have been to 6 or more workshops? Okay, 10 or more workshops? 15 or more workshops? 20 or more workshops? Yeah, let's just keep on going. Awesome. Well, why would we keep wanting to come to workshops? Because we're all about constant, never-ending improvement, continued learning, right? And that's to make a note here, Ed, if you don't mind passing around the workshop for next month,
yes,
right away. And next month we have a Raising a Healthy and Vibrant Family. So this is for people that have had a family and they have maybe grandkids, right? Or great-grandkids, or they have friends that have kids, or if they have kids yourself, or just so it's for everybody, right? I mean, when we're talking about family, it could be you and your spouse, it could be you by yourself if you eventually want to have a family. We're going to go over a lot of strategies that people need to implement to really maximize that, because right now, when you look around, would you say we have more sick families or healthy families? Right? So, because most people we think, oh, well, we already know we're doing pretty good. But if that was the case, then why would we look around and there's so many people that are sick in the community on a constant basis, and our sicknesses and conditions are just getting worse and worse. So we really need to have strategies to start that off, right? And just so you know about our workshops now, like today, we're going to be raffling off a free 60-minute massage from Deanna. If you haven't got a massage from her, you are missing out. She is amazing. And so we're going to have a lucky winner today. But every she back there getting her warmed up. But we had I know Brad, when he won on Monday, he was like jumping up and yelling and celebrating. So he's excited. But every workshop now, we're trying to have something fun to have a little bit of a giveaway. And we're encouraging people to bring their friends and family that need to hear this, because this is a free workshop. But a lot of times a coworker or a family member or people they care about, this is an opportunity for you to share that information with them. And if you bring that guest, you actually get 2 tickets, raffle ticket, extra tickets on top of yours for every guest that you bring. So just to keep that in mind, and your guest even gets to have, be in the raffle and gets a ticket too. So make sure to have your workshop card validated for the 10% off of your maintenance or wellness program. And we're going to go ahead and, one more thing before we move into this is just to kind of lay out the expectations of what we're going to be covering. Of course, this is heart disease workshop. No, just kidding. This is anti-aging. I just wanted to see if you guys are paying attention. It's the anti-aging workshop and detox, which goes hand in hand. We'll talk about those elements, and we'll also be giving you some chemicals and foods and things to try to stay away from that can increase the aging process. And how many of you guys know, by raise of hands, understand and believe that there's things that you can potentially do that can accelerate the aging process of your body. Right? Yeah. So what's good about that is knowing that, well, if there's things you can do to accelerate it, that means there's things you can do to decelerate it, meaning reverse or slow down the aging process. And that's what we're going to be talking about, is those strategies, not only foods to eat, but also we have resources available that help along those lines too. We'll talk about that at the end. And then if you're never been to our office before as a patient, then we actually extend that as an offer to come into our office and get an evaluation at 50% off of our new patient exam for the workshop time only, and that's it's $40 rather than $80, and we'll explain that why that's good at the end. All right, so we're going to start off with this real quick video. That can be powerful when you start thinking about where's your quality of life, where do you want to go with your future. It's important to have a vision or a purpose. Is our first thing we want to talk about is if you're just trying to make it through each day, you know, even biblically it talks about for lack of vision, people perish. Right? So what is your vision for your life? What do you see happening? And if you don't have that, it's really important to have some intentional time with the Lord to really pray about that and ask for wisdom. Where is His direction for you in your life? And that's where live life by faith, not by sight. Sometimes when we look in our situation that we're in, and it can be hopeless, and it can look discouraging, and it can look there's a lot of negative that, you know, we're deceived in ways by the situation around us, like there's no way out. And but that's where I encourage you to be plumbed and anchored into God's Word, and because when the more connected you are with Him, He's going to reveal His purposes. Every one of us are fearfully, wonderfully made for very specific purposes with our gifts or talents that we have. And that doesn't end when you reach 40, it doesn't end when you're 50, it doesn't end when you reach 80. If you're here, there's a reason and there's a purpose. So it's important to be always anchored to that and be thinking about what is that for you? Is it for you and your kids or your grandkids or somebody with coworkers? And everybody's different in that way, but if we don't have that purpose and those elements, that's the first thing about anti-aging that you'll notice is as the statistics, how many people after they retire, how quickly do they die? Right? Because a lot of times their purpose was to work and provide and this and that, and then they lose that purpose when they retire. So I'm not saying you can't retire, but what I'm saying is when you do retire, make sure you know what your next purpose is. What does that mean for you in your life so you're not one of those statistics? So so that's the first category is really anchoring into His Word, because we know that that's where our life and our health come from. It's from Him. So the second thing is continue learning and growing. And that's what you guys are doing. And that's why I always love every time we come to do a workshop. A lot of you guys familiar faces. It's like our Elevation Health university here, our life university of learning knowledge. Because knowledge then the more you improve your knowledge, you can make better choices and ultimately have different circumstances down the line. And if you look right now, you'll notice, I don't know, I ran some hands. How many of you have noticed that there's more and more like dementia and memory problems and Alzheimer's and all that? Have you guys noticed that? Okay. The stats on that right now is 1 out of every 10 people over the age of 65 has Alzheimer's. Isn't that crazy? 1 out of every 10. 1 out of 2 over 85. And that is just dramatically increasing ever since, especially the past 30, 40 years when they've been having the cholesterol scares. Right? We're going to talk more about good fats and bad fats and what that does, but we've been cutting fat out of our diet. And what is our brain made out of? Fat. So we have a lot of people that are taking these cholesterol medications, not realizing that not only is it causing cancer, that's a whole other workshop. We'll show you the peer-reviewed medical journals that show that information, but it also is making us more dumb, right? It's actually decreasing the brain material, shrinking our brains. So sometimes it's avoiding certain fats, that we need to be putting more good fats in our body. There's definitely some bad fats that we'll be talking about that you need to avoid, or else it can have the same effect. It can actually cause more dementia and memory problems and so on, which a lot of toxins can too. But right now, every 70 seconds, Alzheimer's disease is diagnosed. Over 1,200 every day is diagnosed right now in the United States. And you look at, it's the 5th leading cause of death for ages 65 and older. This is not a worldwide problem. This is a United States problem. Just like the cancers and the diseases and things like that, we are the worst in those categories because of how our lifestyles and how we live. So just to keep that in mind, so many of us, we think about genetics as a key factor, but you want to keep your mind sharp. If you don't use it, you lose it. So your brain and anti-aging of that, memory, focus, concentration, that's why you're here, you're learning. We have lots of resources to help you with that. We have, every week we have a different newsletter here. And I'll notice some people will come in and they won't grab those, and I'm thinking, we want to provide you with the latest advancements in health and wellness, the research coming out. So we want to download that into our community and into you guys on a weekly and monthly basis. So please take advantage of that. You can there's several here. You can take some for your friends, your family, whoever. You can always grab one of those. The second thing is we have our workshops, and that's why you're here. But then we have weekly newsletters too that are emailed to you. And if you're not getting those, then make sure to let us know. And if you want those, we'll keep you updated on that. And then there's an actual Elevation Health app that can show you everything from food and recipes and different tips of the day and lots of resources on there. So it's elevationhealth.com. You can download it. It's free. And stay connected and get more information there. So there's a lot of resources to keep your mind sharp, keeping it focused. It's one of those things, if you're not working on your health, or let's say your marriage, if you're not working on your relationship with your spouse, then is it continually improving or declining? It's declining, right? So if you're not continually working on it, same thing with your kids, or with your spiritual growth. If you just kind of, I'll just not do anything productive or towards a relationship with Christ, where does your relationship go? It goes down, right? Same thing with your health. So if health is important to you, you want to make sure you're continually learning and growing in those elements. Where we get caught and we get deceived is we start thinking that we know it all. Same thing us. We don't know it all. We're constantly learning and growing and improving and seminars to find the latest and get the advancements ourselves. So, all right. So aging, we were kind of hitting on this a little bit, is most people have deep down inside of them, when their body starts aching and hurting and this isn't working as well and we just don't sleep as well, our energy levels aren't as good, and our joints start kind of wearing out, and then we have a tendency to start putting it off as like, well, my parents had that same problem. Or we have heart disease, well, my parents had that same problem. My dad had the same problem. My cousin had the same problem. Genetics. We like to just throw it all on genetics. So there's several studies. There's a couple of them right here that this is quoting is from the University of Missouri, and also there's the Columbia Cancer Institute, and they're looking at genetics and how much that has to do with our overall health, and basically the most from all these different research studies, and not just these two, but several others, is between 5 and 10%. There's a genetic connection. So the good news is there's 90 to 95% on the choices you're making right now on a daily basis. Your lifestyle. How well we take care of what we've got, meaning you're designed and created for a specific purpose, and the more in tune you are with how you're supposed to take care of yourself, then it's amazing how much better quality of life. That's when you can feel better, feel younger, heal and repair better, and all those aspects. But you'll see, environment is our lifestyle. And we're going to talk about the core 4 in a minute to start addressing those areas and make sure you're up on what to do and not to do. But I just want to let you know there's a thing called epigenetics, and on the DNA, on our genes, there's a precursor on there that can be turned on and turned off to determine whether someone gets cancer, whether someone gets heart disease, diabetes. So a lot of us, we kind of just throw it in, well, I've got a family history of that. Well, if you look, you're not the only one with family history. 5 out of 6 people are dying from heart disease and cancer. Just about everybody is going down that pathway, so most people have a history of that. It's not genetics, okay? 5 to 10% is genetics. So on aligning our lifestyle the way God designed and created us is going to be your best shot. Get the right things in and the wrong things out. So, for you that are new, or a refresher for those of you that have had the 2030 workshops in, we do this every month, right? The core 4. And why do we look at that is we look at function, fitness, nutrition, and education. Education is a lot of the facts, the sciences behind the topic we're talking about. So today, anti-aging and detox. And so we're going to be running through those. And we want to make sure you are continually looking at what can I do to get more of the junk that's inside of us out, that's holding us back, that's aging us, and what can I do to get more of the good stuff in to help decrease the aging process. And so we can have more energy and look better and feel better and all that. But the problem we have is when we look around us, this is the world right here. The world, when we have all those aches and the pains and the symptoms, the high blood pressure, the cholesterol problems, the numbness, the tingling, the MS, the fibromyalgia, the Alzheimer's, what do? What does the ads tell us to do, or the doctors tell us to do? We start taking what? Medicine, right? Medicine seems to be the answer for all. But if it was the answer, then we'd be the healthiest country ever, because we take over 75% of all the medication developed in the world. But instead, we are actually the unhealthiest. And when we look at compared to any other industrialized country, we are the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to our overall health. We have more cancer, disease, obesity, and you name it. We're a very sick country compared to other countries. And a lot of that has to do with we're so fast-paced, we don't have time, and we have been trained to think in a way, if you have anything going on, you need to take this and it's going to solve all your problems. But the reason why someone has a pain, or a high blood pressure, or numbness, tingling, whatever's going on, blood sugar issue, it means your body is saying, hey, there's something out of balance, something is wrong and needs to be addressed. It's like saying, my vehicle, if I'm driving my truck and my check engine light comes on and I get sick and tired of that coming on, I could either take that light bulb and smash it with a hammer, or I can put a piece of tape over top of it, right? Or I don't have time to start figuring out what's going on inside there. It seems to be driving fine. I think it's wrong, right? And so we just kind of put a piece of tape, whatever we want to do to ignore that. And that's what medications are doing. And there's something under the hood that needs to be checked. You understand? And if we don't find out what that underlying cause, get to the core problem, then we're going to look like everybody else. The statistics right now is our lives have to look completely different, dramatically different than 99% of everyone else in the community here and around the world. And so that's why this fish is jumping over into here, a better way of looking at overall health. Our healthcare system, we need to adapt a new healthcare system, and we're getting to the underlying issue. And that's what the core 4 helps us address. So the first thing on there, that icon you can see, is function. Why do we look at the function aspect first? Because that's what controls everything in the body. It doesn't matter how awesome someone eats, and their food-wise, exercise and fitness, you name it, all those elements are really good for the body, but they're limited on function. The brain has got to get the message down through the spine, through the nervous system, to the organs and glands. If you visualize this is a vine, and these are the branches, this is the fruit. If you break off a branch from the vine, what happens to the fruit? It rots. That's right, it rots, it dies, it ages faster. Why does my heart not working right? Why does my gallbladder need to be taken out? Why do my tonsils, my allergies, all these things going on? We have to start asking those questions. Why? The body is designed and created to heal and repair. Do you guys believe that? It's a known physiological, biological fact. It's not a religious statement. It's a fact. The way the body is designed, it heals and repairs. If I get kind of automatically just it starts knitting, I don't even have to think about it. There's an internal intelligence, an innate intelligence that guides that and directs that to heal and repair it. If I break a bone, automatically, I don't have to think about it. It wants to do it. If someone is pregnant, knitting that new baby together, the right fingers and toes and the organ, all the complexity of the systems, we're not smart enough mentally to do that. There's an innate intelligence from above that God has given us to take care of those issues. We need to make sure that intelligence can work optimally. So God needs no help to heal the body, just no interference. And a lot of the things we do start interfering with the body from doing its job and healing and repairing like it's supposed to. And that's why you look around the community, we're completely disconnected from that, and we think that we're going to know it when we feel it. And so that's where, to finish that example, is if I had a cut, and if there's something lodged in there, a rock or a splinter or something, then it all of a sudden it just can't heal and repair like it's supposed to, right? It can literally get infected, spread through the rest of my body, and they have to amputate my arm or whatever. So what happens to solve that underlying issue? We need to remove the interference, right? Remove the splinter, remove the rock, so that way the body can do its job. Does that make sense? And that's what we're doing, Dr. Matt and I, when we're making an adjustment, is not to get rid of your neck pain, your back pain, your numbness, your tingling, your digestive problems, and all these things that we see get well from everybody. It's not to do that, because we have no control over those. Are your symptoms. That's your body trying to communicate and talk to you. But what we can help with is to make specific adjustments to make sure your brain is getting the nervous system, the communication to the organs, glands, the body. So, like, for example, I had a patient today, I can't remember how much she has lost, but for 30 days she had been cutting out sugar. And she was talking about how when she didn't have caffeine and didn't have sugar, she would get headaches and she'd feel bad if she didn't have it. She went through the detoxing component and started clearing that out. She slayed the sugar dragon, is in her terms, right? And but she got through that, and now she was expressing to me today, she said, I went through the 30 days, she's doing so much better, and now if she has a little bit of that, guess what her body does? It has a headache. It doesn't feel right, because her body is now clean and it can actually communicate. Does that mean she's sick because she feels sick or has a headache after eating something toxic to the body? No, that means she's healthy and her body actually can speak and communicate to her. Before it was so clogged up and interfered with that she could eat how much ever, whatever, and it didn't even feel bad, right? And that's where a lot of people are with our health, and we think, well, if we do something different, if we go by how we feel so much rather than how we're created, designed, and what we need to do to take care of our body. And so, key issue, we need to make sure that system is able to work right, so that way your body can actually detox properly. So actually the anti-aging hormones we're going to talk about can actually be produced properly and optimally. So let me go over a couple slides on how that works with just your overall immune system, for example. And you'll notice we'll have shirts that says turn the power on. That is not that we're putting power in, but there already is that power that's inside of it. We need to make sure to remove it. Turn it on. So when we make an adjustment, it can take 30 seconds to a minute to adjust somebody, and it's like flipping the power on so that our brain can communicate to the rest of the body. The healing happens in between the adjustments. And that's where a lot of times some people will get off the table and are like, it still kind of hurts a little bit right here. Okay, I mean, we have no control over that. I'm sure it will. Those muscles are really tight in there, and there's a lot of inflammation. Because some people, they get used to it. Like sometimes after an adjustment, they go immediate relief, and they think that that's going to happen every time because of what the body's communicating to them. The healing is in between the adjustments. You remove the interference so the body then can actually heal those tissues and remove the interference and stuff like that. And what happens is, this is a study done from Journal of Manipulative and Physiological Therapies. The JMPT studied 311 chiropractic patients ages 65 and older who had received maintenance care or regular care for over 5 years or longer, versus they compared it to healthy citizens the same age. Okay, so basically healthy people versus chiropractic people, and it showed 60.2% fewer hospital administrations, 59% less days in the hospital, 62 less outpatient surgeries, and 85% less pharmaceutical costs. Just this one right here, 85% less pharmaceutical costs. What do you think that does? That's like a triple positive, meaning that not only are they not having to take medication cost-wise, but that medication has all these other side effects to the body. And what you'll find out is, yes, it can help save lives for emergency situations, but if you have to keep putting that in your body, it's causing damage and toxic overload to your system and cause other areas to have issues. So here's another research study from Dr. Ronald Perot, New York University Cancer Research Center. Study immune system again, 5 or more years of chiropractic care. And chiropractic patients had an immune system strength average 300% stronger. And this one he was studying healthy patients, cancer patients, non-cancer patients, and so on. 300% stronger immune system. So what does that mean? When we make an adjustment, there's an interleukin that's actually released for 2 hours. I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of really immune-compromised patients, they'll get a shot of proleukin, which is a very expensive medication they've developed to try to stimulate for your body to release interleukin in there. So they'll give like AIDS victims and these really chronic immune deficient people this shot so to try to get your body to produce interleukin. And here when you get an adjustment, it's producing that and releasing that in your system for up to 2 hours after an adjustment. So why is it we say, hey, if you're not feeling well, you're not doing very good, and you're like about ready to miss your appointment, we're like, no, we'd actually recommend try to come in as much as you can because that's going to help you recover faster or hold off from not getting in the first place, right? So, warning signs. Why would we make sure, we're very proud, we talk about this every time because most people base their health on how they what? Feel, right? I'll feel when I got a problem. So, by the time they have the problem, that means that they've had an issue in there that's been going on typically for most people for many, many, many years unless they had some severe trauma to their body. But even the people that go and they'll lift something like, oh, I felt right when I went, and then we look and there's degeneration. Well, it was going on for 20, 30 years, getting worse and worse and worse, and now you felt it because it's weak, and you lifted that, and it wasn't able to handle it because it's a weak structure, and that's why you're having the pain. So, of course, warning signs, there's all kinds of different symptoms people can have that are like, you definitely need to be getting checked to make sure you're not having any interference from your brain to the rest of your body, but also, no warning signs. Who wants to live life to their fullest potential? Who wants to prevent from those conditions to happen? Who wants to anti-age and all those elements, save money, time, and energy over time? That's where we have a lot of, most of our practice is based on families, right? The whole family getting checked because of those elements. Stay fit. So here's the next icon. Fitness. We talked about function, how that relates, anti-aging. It controls everything in the body. Fitness is huge. This is an area where I see almost like two extremes, it seems like. People that are into it and they're doing great and they're awesome, and then not doing so good at all. Now, I have some in there that are kind of hit and miss in there, but you want to find a really good steady schedule. The longer you're doing that, study after study after study, it helps release positive hormones in your body that actually is an anti-aging hormone called HGH, the human growth hormone, to help repair your body, your cells. It decreases your skin from wrinkling, right? It helps decrease your hair from going gray as much. You know, some people, that is a little bit of a genetic component in there, right? Also, it helps with better sleep, right? It helps increase muscle mass and strength. It increases bone strength and your density of your bones. It helps your body lose weight because it increases your metabolism. It helps to mobilize the fat in your body to where it starts getting into a fat burning mode. That's why that particular hormone is one of the biggest, they call it an anti-aging hormone because of all the benefits it has for all that. But on top of that, guess what? It helps your memory, your focus, your concentration, decrease depression, a high on life, like more excitement and wanting to have a drive after things. So how does that release? Well, exercise is a really big way to help release this particular hormone. And a lot of you guys are missing out on it. And because your body produces it on its own. And so there's lots of, the drug companies are continually trying to figure out ways to get that, give you the HGH. Because they know that'd be a gold mine, right? But every single one of those medications that they give to try to stimulate that, they all have side effects and toxins that come with it. When your body does it on its own, if you exercise. So it only makes sense, the way God designed you and created you is to move. And if we do that in a balanced way, then it can help release that. Because we have a lot more of that as we're growing, and then after we're 30 years old, it starts dropping off. And then by the time we're 40, it really drops off on actually producing it. So we have to work hard on actually stimulating that if we want the human growth hormone, that hormone, to be released in the body. So, one thing we've talked about is when you're exercising in general, typically it can start releasing some, but to maximize the release in that HGH is burst training. And if you are unaware of the burst training, let me know afterwards, because we kind of went through that several times in a lot of workshops. But I would be glad to sit down, Dr. Matt and I, and show you through the elements of what that looks like with the burst training. And it's what's the excuses from not exercising for most people? Takes too long. Time, right? Time, or maybe energy. Some people are like, it's hard to have the energy to work out. Motivation sometimes, right? Okay, so that's where sometimes you gotta, like when I wake up in the morning, my alarm goes off at 4:45. When I wake up, I have to just get up, turn the alarm off, and start walking like a zombie to the bathroom to get dressed as I'm stumbling, getting clothes on. Otherwise, if I think about it, this is just how my body works. If I turn it off and I start thinking about it, I need to get up today. I'm dead out, and also, I woke up, I missed my that's how my body works. So you have to think about what do you need to do, what strategizing. For me, it's making a decision ahead of time. If I make a decision the night before, I'm going to get up at this time and do it, I just get up and I do it. But if I say, if there's a day, it's kind of an off day, I think I might get up and go ahead and do this other workout. Guess what? I'll wake up, I don't feel like it today. If you don't make the decision the night before, and guess what you have to do? If you know you're going to be working out the next day, I'm looking at that clock going, I got to get to bed. Because if I'm going to be working out and doing all this, I got to get to bed early enough so I'm not drained and tired. So then if I'm going to get to bed early, that means to get the kids away. So it all starts ahead of time. You got to have a plan to do that. Otherwise, if you go by how you feel, you're going to be like everybody else, and you're going to go through a little spurt, and you finally get it going, and then you drop off. You got to have some kind of plan, and I'd find something that you enjoy doing. It's not fun miserably going through things, and that's not going to be long term for you. Now, some of you have to do some things because you may not like right away, but you can learn to love some areas too. So, because I know some of you have talked about, let's walk. I don't like to walk. Swim? No. Bike? No. And, so some of you, we have to do something to get out of your comfort zone because you can learn to love it. Because once you start releasing those endorphins and those positive hormones, you'll think, man, why haven't I been doing this forever? And here's the classic saying: when people drop off and they lose track, and then they're off schedule and not working out, as soon as they finally get back into it, they're like, I don't know why I ever stopped. I feel so good when I'm exercising. The oxygen to the brain, when you're releasing the positive hormones in your body, making you more alive, your focus, your concentration, your memory increases. You're bringing that blood up through, nourishing your brain and all the organs and glands and the cells and tissues. But here's the thing. When it comes to exercise, we want all the joints to go through its full range of motion. Because I know some of you are like, I exercise a lot. I walk 5 miles every day. That's awesome. Very good. But you want to have a variety too. You want to change up your workouts because your body can get used to that, and then it can kind of plateau, and then you're not really challenging your body, and it'll get used to that. So you want to change things up, change the frequency, how fast you're going, intervals. You can do a lot of things. There's multiple aspects, and if you need help in that area, we can help you, or there's trainers that are really great. But what I was saying about full range of motion, you notice how a lot of times as we age, our joints just kind of maybe get a little stiffer, and sometimes when we're bending over, it's like once we get down, you maybe don't want to get back up, and it's harder to bend those knees. Because how often is my knee going to this range of motion? How often is your leg, how often is your foot hitting your butt? Right?
Show off.
This is a big revelation for me a few years back. You know, we're adjusting. I'm thinking, oh yeah, burn a lot of calories and a lot of exercise. We're adjusting. And I was running and and exercising a lot, but I kind of had fallen off the whole stretching routine. So I was using my muscles and getting fit in those ways, but my joints, I was thinking, my knees are really starting to hurt me. And then I was noticing I was really starting to lose a lot of flexibility, because how often when I'm adjusting, I don't have my leg going up to here, and when I'm running, it's only going through a certain range of motion. So some of you are walking or you're doing a certain exercise, but is it going through its full range of motion? If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So most people, they don't wear out, they rust out. How often does our shoulder go back to here if we're not forcing it to do that? And that doesn't mean you go from where you're at and just start cranking your body. You can injure yourself and cause a lot of inflammation. Gradually, you start working where you're at, going through its full range of motion, and little by little, you improve that. So every joint, one more example on that, just to hit that home, is my son, he broke his arm, and a few years back, they put a cast on him. So I think he was like 9 years old at the time. They took the cast off, and he couldn't hardly straighten his arm or bend it. Right? The proprioception, the mechanoreceptors in the body were not signaling and using that joint anymore. So already it was starting to rust out, meaning it was losing the fluid and the nutrients to hydrate that joint. So it took a while to get him back to that full range of motion. So a lot of you guys in here, I'm concerned about your overall joints. The shoulders, the knees, the elbows, everything, every joint in your body, we want to have it going through a full range of motion. And that's why your spine, that's why we're working on your spine, because those areas that are subluxated, not working right, those are made up of joints, right? And so if they're not moving right, then they age and they deteriorate and they cause osteophytes and all that stuff. So that's why we're adjusting to increase that. We have to do the spinal hygiene exercises. We have, anyway, on and on. That's why we're having you do all those things. We want to have you anti-age. Keep the skin, your joints, your muscles strong, healthy, your organs, your glands. Exercise is crucial. There's no adjustment I can do that's going to give you the benefits from the exercise. Okay? And so, I think we covered this, but I mean, you want your mind to be more sharp, get the oxygen to it. It's amazing the difference from the clarity of thinking when you're exercising in your body. So and another thing too is there's other classes you can take. We had a speaker, guest speaker on Monday night's workshop, and Marie Powers, and she left this for us. But she does some yoga and she teaches some other classes, and she went ahead and offered you a free yoga class, or a free consultation of like maybe you have some other goals or whatever. So I'm going to start having this, and if you don't mind, just kind of start passing around. I don't know if we've got quite enough. We may have some more up here. Do we have any others?
We've got some business cards.
Okay. So you could maybe take one per couple, and if we got more, you can grab another one. And I'm sure she'll honor that with you. But the reason I picked her to come here because there's a lot of different yoga. Because one thing that is interesting about her when we're looking at anti-aging, some people have a hard time getting on and off the floor and doing some certain moves. And this yoga that we're talking about is not the we're talking about like she does Christian yoga, and it's not taking you off spiritually into a whole other realm or anything like that. Don't worry about that. But she'll even do, she modifies the exercises depending on the age of her people. She's talking about her 85-year-old that she now is like doing stairs with her, doing all kinds of stuff. She's been with them for 5 years. But she can utilize even a chair and do chair yoga and helping that as support. So anyway, it can be modified for wherever you're at. And so, but we got to get the body moving. And sometimes investing in someone else to help you is one way you show up. When the alarm goes off, I'm paying for this person, I better show up. Right? Some of you need that. So, time for free massage time. Who's ready to do a little raffle, right? Let's go ahead and have you stand up for me. Get that raffle going. Start shaking out your body a little bit, getting loosened up.
You draw? Excellent.
Here we go. The big winner is... Can't read it. Oh, there it is. Irene.
Irene!
Yep. go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You had such pretty cursive handwriting. I'm like, wait. Oh, there we go.
That is beautiful. See me after, Irene. That's great.
60-minute massage. There you go. Awesome. Okay, wait. Before you sit down, we're gonna have you turn to the right. Do a little. We're gonna give you a little free massage. Each of you can do a little massage train. And there you go. Help your neighbor out. Loosen those shoulders. Get the blood flowing through the brain again. We have some more information to cover here. There you go. Do a little karate chop and get that loosened up. Nice. Good deal, good deal. Then you can go ahead and flip and turn to your other neighbor and help them out. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Awesome. I think I'll just pause right here. All right, good deal. Thank you, guys.
We could do that all day.
Cool, fun. So Irene's going to be excited about that massage. It is fantastic. We need to make sure when my next massage is scheduled.
There's a space between us? I don't know.
So, all right. So moving on. We're going to start talking about. We've talked about the function, the fitness, and we've talked about some statistics with aging and anti-aging, things like that. We're going to really start honing into some foods, making sure you're clear on some foods to stay away from, some foods to eat more of, to help maximize that those anti-aging hormones in the body. If you look here, there's like a little streamline going up to someone that's happy and healthy, right? We want to stay on this side of the food, and we want to decrease these that are aging us faster. So if we start with the ones that are aging us faster, a lot of the ones we love, like the Pop's Secret, the real quick microwavable things that would pop up, or popcorn in general, we have to be very careful with that. Most, almost 99.9% of is GMO, genetically modified. So, which means that it changes the DNA of your cells, and it's been shown to cause a lot of problems. Not only aside from that, with corn in general, we used to think, oh, it's a healthy vegetable, right? Well, number one, it's not a vegetable. Number two, if you look, it's a grain. If you're wondering what it was, corn is a grain, and it's highly inflammatory for the brain and for the body. So it increases cancer and heart disease and those elements. So even those nice organic stalks that come up and they're with the butter, juicy, taste so good, it's not good for you. So just so you know, it's a treat. So limit how much you have of that kind of stuff. And then of course, it gets worse the more you start adding like popcorns and bad stuff in it, and bad oils and fats and stuff like that. Sugars we know is very inflammatory, very bad. You want to stay away from them as much as possible. But then as you go on down, there's a lot of times cereals, cooking oils, things like that. We'll talk about the more specifics of that. White breads, fast foods, pastas and potatoes and rice. Those, the reason I talk about those is because, again, those are inflammatory. And inflammation, which I'll show you a study in a second, it causes damage to the brain and it causes us to age faster. And then we have margarine down here. We'll talk about how bad those fats are, and we'll talk about the good fats to have instead of. So if you look on this, what are we going back to? The food off the land, right? You notice this is manufactured by man. This is not, right? I mean, basically you go back down to the more you can have something that doesn't have any ingredients on there, or if it does, you know exactly what it says, you're going to be better off. The more lists it has, that's the more toxins that are coming into your body, and the harder and harder it is for your body to get that out. A lot of those toxins, they stay in there and they stick in your brain and clogs things up. Sticks in your filtering organs and clogs that up. So all these fruits, you think about some really good ones. You think about your fruits and your vegetables, your apples and whatnot. Good nuts, seeds, especially your tree nuts, not your peanuts. Avocados are good fat, really good for you. Good sources of eggs. And then there are some. If you're going to have grains and things like that, you want to have the pseudo grains is the ideal. Your millet and your quinoa, things like that. And they even have that in pasta and rice. But it's a pseudo grain. It doesn't affect your blood sugar the same way, and is much better for you than your regular grains. And then your cruciferous vegetables are huge, like your kale and your broccoli and cauliflower and your Brussels sprouts. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second, about how that releases glutathione which is a major, that's the next key thing for anti-aging. It repairs the DNA in our cells. We're gonna have good sources of meat, and then good oils like good butter, good coconut oil, and then you'll notice at the very, very top, coffee. Coffee actually can be anti-aging. It has a lot of good things, but you want to make sure it's organic. If it's not organic coffee, then that's adding to your aging process. The reason I say that is coffee is the most heavily dumped on with pesticides, herbicides, all those chemicals. It's more chemically laden than all the other crops. So you want to make sure your coffee is organic, and then you want to make sure you don't put the dairy and the sweeteners and the aspartame or all that other stuff in there. If you do a little stevia and maybe some honey or something along that line, but stay away from like your dairy creamers, or you can put almond milk or coconut milk or even coconut oil. You know, a delicious thing that we've been doing is you take some organic butter. So you take some organic coffee, you take a little bit of organic butter, and you take some coconut oil, and you put it in there, and you think, oh, that sounds good. I know, and I was thinking, you do that in your coffee? And then you actually take that and you blend it, and it makes it a frothy, creamy drink. And my wife and I were like loving it. And what it does is it's giving your body good fat. It actually helps with your brain focus, concentration, and it helps fill you up. Helps increase your metabolism. Anyway, I don't remember the name of what that process is that they do, but you ought to try it. But you want the more you get with organic and grass-fed butter and good source of coconut oil to put in there, those are good fats, good things for you. So if you look at, we talked about carbohydrates and how that affects our brain. It shrinks our brain. The more carbohydrates you have, the more your brain shrinks, the more inflammatory it gets. And so you want to stay away from it. And a lot of times when we're talking about grains, that's even like your organic granola bars, right? That's talking about your organic cereals. That's even talking about your oatmeal. A lot of people, we've said, oh, oatmeal helps decrease cholesterol and helps this and this and that. It's a grain, okay? And a lot of times what do we put in there? A lot of times there's milk or there's honey, and it adds to the problem. So if you think, what do we eat for breakfast? Well, what we have in our family is we have a healthy protein shake with kale and spinach, and it has broccoli in there and frozen fruit with an avocado, and we blend it and we drink it. That's our number one choice. And then you can also make healthy protein waffles. One thing I'm making note of that because I found out from another person, a friend of ours, we put this recipe my wife did on healthy waffles. If you happen to notice that and you tried it and it tastes horrible, she didn't mention that you need to make sure you have the protein that tastes good. We had some friends like, oh, we tried that, I'm sorry, it was horrible. And we're like, what kind of proteins do you use? And she said, oh, it was just a regular, like a GNC regular protein, and it made it taste horrible. So we can only vouch for the ones that we sell because it actually has some stevia and it makes it taste really, really good. It's like a cake batter, but it's really healthy for you. So you can actually make muffins, or if you need that carb kick, texture-wise, it tastes like a carb, but yet it's made of protein, and it's with all your antioxidants, vitamins, minerals in it. So what is my son's favorite breakfast is waffles, made from our complete shake that we can make. So all you're doing is you're adding in your complete, and then you add in some good eggs, some olive oil, and some cinnamon, and what am I missing? Oh, and then some almond milk. You add that in there. Those are all good things for you. Stir it up. You've got a cake batter for pancakes, for waffles, or whatever. So that's you can ask about that stuff later. We've got the shakes, that shake mix for you.
By the way, these are the chocolate ones.
Oh, there you go.
I make them all the time. Vanilla is the one my family loves. You can make them with each one, no matter what you want.
Yeah,
I do butter and I do cinnamon. And some people do the honey butter, make it a little more sweeter with fruit on top.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Is that what your lunch is? He's having like a big old brownie for lunch. Let's get for him. So basically, to kind of summarize this slide is the studies have shown that the more your diet has with good fats, 42% less likely to get cognitive impairment. Why? Well, what are we doing? We're feeding our brain. We're feeding our nervous system. Every cell in your body has a fatty bilayer over top of that, and when we eat the trans fats, the bad fats, it hardens that cell wall, traps the toxins inside of it, and ultimately causes more aging, but cancer, disease, those degenerative diseases in the body. So the good fats help open that up so that the toxins can get out, the good stuff can get in, and then it feeds our brain. We've got to get, I noticed over the years in the past, that was one big area that I wasn't getting enough good fat. I've really ramped that up these last couple of years. It's made a huge difference in my focus, my concentration, my energy levels. So if we go in, then also it talks about protein too. Making sure you have good amounts of protein can also decrease your Alzheimer's, things like that. But it's really your good fats and your veggies, your greens, your cruciferous vegetables, things like that. Because what's been, if you recall, 1984, what were they doing is telling us how bad cholesterol is. Don't eat your eggs, don't eat your butter, don't eat all that stuff. It's going to cause heart disease and so on. And then they come back and say, scientists labeled fat the enemy, why they were wrong, 2014. Basically talking about how, okay, yeah, they're wrong because it's causing Alzheimer's to go out of the roof, dementia, brain diseases, and multiple other conditions. Decreasing your cholesterol, your good cholesterol of your body, increases your cancer tremendously. So as the doctors are like high-fiving, yeah, your cholesterol levels are going down, and you keep taking that medication, your cancer rate keeps going up and up and up. And this is from peer-reviewed journals. So we can talk about that at a different time, but you want to reevaluate if you're on those for sure. So fats, when we talk about good fats versus bad fats, let me tell you real quick the good fats, okay? Good fats, you want to have avocados, you want to have coconuts and coconut oil, you want to have olive oil, you want to have, this is like extra virgin olive oil that's cold pressed. You want to get good quality oils, your fish oils, your krill oils. You want to have, your nuts, your tree nuts, your almonds and cashews, and you want to stay away from peanuts. Peanuts are pro-inflammatory. Those are good. Gives you a good start. Put a lot more of that in your diet, and you're going to be a lot better off feeding your body with that on a regular basis. Literally to the point, some people will have and actually take a spoonful of coconut oil every day. It increases your metabolism to lose weight, but also it feeds your brain and it helps you fill you up. So we can either put it in your coffee, or you can put it in your shake, or you can make sure to cook with it. One thing about good with coconut oil is you cook it with really, really high heat. So if you have olive oil, don't cook with it because it can denature it and make it toxic. So the olive oil is what you're putting on your salads and for dressings and those elements. But what you want to stay away from is basically everything else. All the other oils, which is the vegetable oil, your canola oil. We're here in Texas this last weekend, and my family, my wife's side, we were eating there, and it's like, I feel bad. Do you have anything besides the oil, because they're thinking they're trying to eat healthy, they're trying to do well, and they're making this healthy meal with all these other good things, but then they have this toxic fat of canola oil that it causes cancer, and it causes inflammation in your body. And a lot of you guys right in here are probably using that on a regular basis, not realizing how bad it is. So vegetable oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, it doesn't matter how healthy it looks on the label or how organic it is. There's organic protein bars, vegetable bars, things that look so good. They label the way it looks awesome. You look in the ingredients, and it can have aspartame, MSG, it can have bad fats, and even things that say no trans fats can have trans fats. It's at a lower level to where you have to actually look at the ingredients and look to see if it has these oils, hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, vegetable oil, so on. Okay? Stay away from all that. What it's doing, and it's in all these foods, heavily in all the things we already know we need to stay away from. But what's sad is a lot of people are trying to be healthy and they're getting in a lot of those, and those are the ones that we need to be aware of. So when it all comes down to it, it's not if you're toxic, it's how toxic your body is. Your body is like a toxic soup inside, not only from these chemicals we're getting in from our foods, but from the environment. From who's ever washed dishes before and they open up that dishwasher, those fumes, it's like a toxic bomb going off in your house and you're breathing that. who's ever cooked with Teflon? You know, Teflon, that's going to be banned hopefully in the United States within the next year or two. But right now it's banned from other countries. The Teflon, just so you know, like a bird, they have an instruction book for like parrots and things like that. If you cook, it says whatever you do, do not cook with Teflon in your house or else your parrot's going to die. You know, the reason is because there's toxins being released when you cook with those types of pans. So we're bombarded with stuff. Your underarm deodorants, your makeups, your lipsticks, your eyeliners, a lot of the shampoos you're wearing and soaps you're using and so on. I mean, it is the paints, fumes from paints, oils, the environment. We're bombarded, as you can see. Okay, we don't have time to go into all the elements. The main thing is we're all toxic. What are you doing to get rid of those toxins? What steps are you taking to make sure you're filtering that out of your system? Because your body can get overloaded, get clogged up, and it starts aging the body faster. The cells die off faster, and when that happens, it can start causing more chronic diseases. Here's to give you a little bit of an understanding of the dishwashing detergents, the oven cleaners, laundry detergents, floor and furniture polishers, air fresheners, hard surface cleaners, antibacterial cleaners. So on that, the little soap, instead of soap, a lot of times people, instead of washing their hands, they'll put that little gel on there in their hand, antibacterial gel. Stay away from that as far as you can. It has triclosan in it, liver damage, attacks the thyroid, makes you gain weight, and then also it's shown to cause cancer-causing effects. So, yeah, you just don't have that stuff. It's in the grocery stores. They have it at the schools for the kids to do. I mean, it's like the only way you can get your kids to not do it is you have to tell them you're allergic to it, so that way you don't have to do it. Because a lot of people, they don't know what they're getting in with that, and it's causing a lot of damage. So that's just one aspect. So there's some things you can do for these cleaning products, household products. Melaleuca, 7th generation. Honest.com, you can go to honest.com and look at some different resources. There's a lot of places you can get that are having a lot of these cleaning products more natural to start fine-tuning, and some of them work better than others. So don't give up after you tried one and like, oh, that didn't work very good. Well, try a different one, and then you'll find out, oh, that works good and it's healthy for you. Okay, you know that. So you just kind of have to search through those companies and find what works for you. But the main thing is we need to start looking, and that's why they say it's more toxic in your house than it is out in the environment. Some more toxins. Yay! Right? Some more things we're getting in our body is from the foods. We've already covered some of that. But again, the high fructose corn syrups, trans fats, artificial flavors, MSG, artificial colors, artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and they can be labeled in many things. You can see in your packet, we gave you a copy of that so we don't have to save on time on going through those. But you need to read the ingredients and familiarize yourself with these. So little by little, you just start fine-tuning. It can be a little overwhelming at first, but you find one product and you're like, oh good, now I've got one that I can stick with. And then you look at another, oh, I can't do that, and then you find another one. Hey, there it is. And you'll notice you end up using a lot of the same products. So 1 week and another week and then a year later, you've gotten a lot of toxic load out of your house, your family, your kids, yourselves, and you've switched it with brands and things that don't have that. One more thing that we're not covering here, but you look at a lot of your like whipping creams or milks, or even your almond butter and coconut, almond milk and coconut milk and all that. There's a product, even if it's organic, you look on the ingredients, it says carrageenan. Carrageenan is very toxic for your body and shown to cause colon cancer, and that's one of those things where we didn't know. For I don't know how many years, whatever, we were using organic almond milk and rice milk and things like that over the years, and we learned about it and we're like, oh my gosh, the brands we've been using has carrageenan in it. And so that's one of those things, another one of those chemicals that probably in the next few years will finally ban it. But it takes so long for those things to actually get out of the system. Trans fatty acids, how long did that take for them to actually start labeling that? It took like 15 years from when we were talking about it and learning about it and how toxic it is and the research behind it. 15 years before they ever actually started putting in a label saying no trans fats, or just alerting people of it. So we're giving you the information now to start working on it, so you don't have to wait over the next 10, 15 years. The whole goal is we want to have the repair greater than the breakdown. We want your body, as we know, heals and repairs. We're created and designed that way. But the more toxic load we have on it, and then we're not getting enough nutrients, the antioxidants, the vitamins and minerals, the exercise, flushing things out of our body, those systems, then our repair starts to get less than our breakdown and we age faster, right? So anti-aging is all about focusing on that balance. So when we look at that, you visualize your body as like a toxic pool of water. What do we want to do? We got to change the water. Then we start thinking more about what we're putting in the body. And what's one of the best ways to help start cleansing the body on the inside is exercise. We got to get that flowing, get those fluids flushing out of the cells. Sweating, very good for your body. Breathing hard helps your lungs, your skin, your liver, your kidney. They're detoxifying organs. Your colon. They're helping to rid the body from toxins. But a lot of times they get so clogged up they don't work very well. And that's what we're going to talk about: some supplementation, some nutrients, some resources you can take to help facilitate that process. And so we want to get it to here. We have healthy cells, more vibrant energy, and to detox the body. Here's my wife. Quick story if you guys don't know about her. We had the weight loss detox workshop last month. She was there also. She's lost right around 40. I don't know if it's a little over 40 now. We haven't really been keeping up on her exact at this point. I know she reached 40 by last month. I don't know how much she's off now. So, but anyhow, the main thing is she went through also, like, well, we have a program. It's a 30-day weight loss program, but it's a weight loss detox program. And it's very specific, though. To get your body into a fat burning zone, the more toxins you have, the more fat your body's going to hang on to protect your body from those toxins. So the more you get those toxins out of your body, all of a sudden you can become more lean and get into help your body have more energy and clarity and thinking and joints and all that stuff. But we got to get your body into that fat burning zone by detoxing the body. So there's very specific food selection, calorie intakes for each individual is different, and that's why we have a Tanita machine to help us give the reading of really looking at where you're at with your hydration levels, your body fat percentage, your BMI, your metabolic age, your metabolic intake, so that way we know on a daily basis how many calories that we need to have set you at, so your body can start detoxing and clearing that out. But we have that. If you're interested and you want to know more about that, there's a sign-up sheet. Katie, just talk to Katie. And it doesn't mean you're signing up for the program, but we'll just give you more information about it and give you the details. So, DNA, mitochondrial damage. DNA is where it's at, right? Your body is constantly, cells are dying off and they're being reproduced and replaced. If the DNA gets damaged, what's being replaced is a damaged cell. And then damaged cell. And that ages the body. You understand? So to repair and actually go the other way, we need to have the DNA be repaired. And to do that, we need to have glutathione being released. Glutathione is a key nutrient in the body that helps to repair the DNA in our cells. And the sad thing is, it's one of those things where over the years of our life, we start producing less and less and less glutathione. There's another thing that wipes out the glutathione in our body, and that's things like drugs, medications. Medications decrease glutathione, increases your age. Okay? But there's other things like we talked about, the diet, the pollutions, the radiations, the stresses, traumas, all those elements start suppressing glutathione being in your body. So guess what? That ages your body faster. So again, we talked about removing a lot of these things so the way the glutathione can do its best, but as we age, it's already just producing less. So we need to have ways to stimulate that and increase that naturally. And that's where, if you look at, there's certain foods, antioxidants, and it basically comes down to your cruciferous vegetables. So if you look here, we've already found dozens of ways to live an extra decade or two in good health. The easiest and surest way to increase your body's supply of glutathione, take glutathione precursors, which we'll be talking about what those nutrients are here in a few minutes, and or eat more cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, etc. That's from Dr. David Williams. But Glutathione is another key. We talked about the HGH, anti-aging hormone. Now we've got glutathione, powerful antioxidant that repairs the DNA of our cells. Cruciferous vegetables is where it's at. Eat as much of that as you can. So like in our shake, most people don't really like to eat kale very much. So what's great is we put it in our shake. You can put cabbage, you can put kale, you can put spinach, on and on, these elements to really increase the glutathione. Glutathione repairs the DNA damage that causes cancer. How well your body makes glutathione is a major determining factor in whether or not you get cancer. Just like we were talking about, if the DNA starts getting damaged from toxins, pollutions, stresses, whatever it is, then that DNA then is reproducing, other cells are reproducing, this is another damaged cell and another damaged cell, and this is where cancer can start getting out of control. So there's also products we talk about that helps to repair that and helps the cancer from wanting to grow. It's called curcumin in Raven 500. So if we start off, though, looking at the detoxifying factor of all those elements that start bombarding us from the environment and things we're in, there's the detox nutrient packs. Actually, would you mind grabbing me our supplements just so I can show them a little bit, each one individually? So from all those carpets and Teflon cooking, heavy metals even, and all that stuff we get from our life, it starts increasing those toxins, clogging up our cells, and then also our detoxifying organs. That's why we take detox packets. Thank you so much. Round of applause for Katie. Isn't she awesome? So we got the detox packets. It's basically a little packet. We take it. I take mine at lunchtime, and there's 6 capsules in there, and there's 2 capsules for liver cleanse, and it goes through the different nutrients in there. Solvent remover, another 2 capsules, and then toxic relief booster. So these are giving us the precursors and nutrients and antioxidants to help release, to help the body produce more glutathione, but also helping the body extract a lot of those toxins. It helps to flush, like your liver is one of the biggest detoxifying organs, and it gets so clogged up from, it's like taking a sponge that's so full of dirt that you're trying to clean your white car with, and it just leaves all these smear marks. Then that smearing keeps circulating through your bloodstream to your cells, and you're a toxic pool, right? So we need to have ways to clear that out and flush it out. That's why we take this on a regular basis. It has amazing nutrients in there to help with that. So if the other thing we talked about is making sure you have the good fatty acids, right? Those essential fatty acids, healthy fats for the brain, the nervous system, and for the cell walls to get those toxins out and to help the body from anti-aging. So proper fish oil. There's a Super EPA Pro that we have that helps go over all those details. And I guess right here, I guess I can read this. You can see essential fatty acids block the abnormal signaling of the brain, which is present in depression and mania. Essential fatty acids also boost serotonin levels in the brain, which ultimately helps you feel better, helps with mood, emotions, depression, on and on. So it's got a lot of benefits there. And vitamin D is the #1 vitamin deficiency in the United States. And it's amazing how many people with blood work Dr. Matt and I are looking through, and how many of them that are taking vitamin D and that are out in the sun, and they're still way low on vitamin D. And it's sometimes our body is not absorbing it properly because it's toxic and it's not functioning right, so it's not absorbing what we're getting. And or you think about when we're out in the sun, a lot of times we'll have makeup on, we'll have sunscreen on, we'll have those elements, and then of course there's only certain times of the year where we really get a whole lot of sun. But even in the summer, it's amazing. So that's where we personally, myself, my family, my kids, staff, we supplement with vitamin D because of all the benefits, not only for anti-aging for the cell, which is very important, but also for bone strength, for your immune system. It protects you from multiple functions because of the, it's a major, it works in conjunction with so many other elements and processes of the body. And you can even see here, raising the minimum year-round serum vitamin D levels can prevent 58,000 cases of breast cancer, 49,000 cases of colon cancer, 75% deaths from these diseases, on and on. There's a lot of research correlating these deficiencies that we're having and correlating it with cancer and heart disease and so on. So this is what's so awesome. Very inexpensive, $13 for 60 capsules. you can have they're really tiny. You swallow it, or there's a dropper if you don't like to swallow, or like for your kids, they're really good for that. There's no flavor on it, so, and but anyway, you want to make sure you're getting that in your body. And then the last one to run through today is the Mariva 500. I was talking a little bit about that, where it's anti-metastatic, which means it helps to block the formation of tumors and cancer cells. And then it's anti-angiogenic, which cuts off the blood supply to those cancer cells. And what it's doing is intracellular, so it's getting infused into the cell and helps that process of allowing the glutathione to be replaced and getting the toxins out and helping the cell from not aging as fast. So and also it helps decrease inflammation. It's one of the biggest anti-inflammatories. We have a lot of patients with different arthritic challenges going on, and but here's the thing: is a lot of people are not taking enough of it. The fish oil and the Mariva, we've had some patients where they're taking it, but they may be only taking a couple capsules a day. I take a gram a day of the Mariva, which is 2 capsules, plus I get a half a gram in my shake. So really 1.5 grams a day is what I'm taking, without any arthritis or inflammation, things like that, as a preventive for overall health. And so people that have those issues, you want to take at least double that to really get that into your cells to drive your inflammation levels down. And then fish oil too, you want to make sure you're taking enough of that that helps decrease pain and inflammation in the body. And what's good about them, it's not just about pain, but there's a bigger factor. Why is your body inflamed? It's probably toxic. The more inflammation you have, it's very related to the amount of toxins in your body, so really getting those toxins out is huge. So this helps facilitate that, but we want to make sure the stuff going in the body is not overloading what you're trying to take supplement-wise. Otherwise, it kind of negates the whole process. So it inhibits the proliferation of tumor cells, helps your body destroy mutated cancer cells so they cannot spread throughout your body, which is all part of that anti-aging process. Decreases body and brain inflammation. All those grains, those toxins, we talked about how it inflames your nervous system, your brain. This is one of those products that help with that. And what it is, it's made up of curcumin. It comes from turmeric root, and that curcumin, a lot of people use that as spices on your food. Excellent, keep doing that. But the amount you're using on your food is not. You need to do about 1,000 times more than that. So we don't eat enough curcumin to really have a pharmaceutical impact on our cells at a cellular level. Yes, it has benefits and it's good for you, but it's really hard for the body to absorb and get it into the cells. That's why they've had this phytosomal technique that actually infuses it to where it helps it get through that cell wall into the cell to give it the effects that it has. And that's why we use this particular company from technologies like this that it does. And it's completely pure. These products from Thorne have no added toxins to it. We're all about making sure we don't add more toxins with the supplements that we're putting in our body. And all right. So these supplements are 20% off. This is not the correct price packaging because instead of the Super EPA Pro, we have the what do we have? We have the
Pro.
we have the Super EPA Pro, not the just Super EPA.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a different dosage to increase the fish oil. So anyway, basically the main thing is it's a little bit different price package. Katie will let you know exactly what that is on your sheet. But
Yes.
oh yeah, and the shakes. Basically, we go ahead and we allow you to go ahead and get the 20% off on the shakes today. How the discounts work, we want to honor you guys and say thank you for being here and great job on and downloading this information, continually learning and growing in that way. So we give you a discount, and that discount stops as soon as you guys leave. There's no more discount for today until the next workshop next month. So, and we'll have a discount on different products, whatever we'll go over through that time. So, in summary, I get to talking a little fast sometimes. I appreciate you guys working through and understanding that. I want to make sure we're not here all day for you. But just to recap, it all comes back down to number one, your vision, your purpose, your life. What really listen to what God has planned for you, His truths and His promises that He has for your life. Intentionally looking and seeking that, gaining wisdom. How do we do that? Is being plugged into the Word and on a daily basis. From there, growing, learning, using your brain, using that, your body, your muscles, your joints, physical activities, your exercise, crucial for anti-aging and increasing your energy, getting those toxins out. Exercise is a major one, and then you've got the functionality. You can exercise, eat really good, take all the supplements in the world, but if your nervous system has those blockages, not getting the communication, then it's only going to help you so much. So that's why the functionality, that's why we have you doing specific exercises that you're doing. That's why we're adjusting you a specific way. That's why we're monitoring you with technologies to really see how well are we doing, how well are we staying up on this. Otherwise, people could be feeling good, but that's only 10% of the nervous system. We have to have objective tests to really look and monitor how the nervous system is working, how it's functioning, and then also structurally making sure we're not digressing in those ways. So, and the last one is we've got the food, the good stuff, try to monitor little by little, getting more and more good stuff in, more of the bad stuff out, and ways and resources to help facilitate that because of our bodies being so toxic and bombarded for so much stuff. So if you have any other questions, we'll hang out here for a few more minutes. There's Dr. Matt, myself, Katie. You can go ahead and get your supplements, whatever you want through there. One more thing on that is if you do end up getting the package, you want that, I decided to go ahead and throw in that little, there's a weight loss detox. We don't have an anti-aging detox, we have a weight loss detox booklet, thank you, that Katie's holding up, that will go with that for those of you guys that want that too. So, otherwise, you're all set. Thank you guys. Love and appreciate you. Bring your friends at the next workshop. As you can tell, we got plenty of space. We opened up to 2 workshops now, and that really helps with allowing us to be able to help more people in the community. Very good.